Good morning, everyone. This is Dan with Senior E-Bike Nation. We're getting ready to take a 20-mile ride today. Nice and cool today, so we will see you on the trail. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan with Senior E-Bike Nation. Hope you guys had a great weekend. We're going to do a 20, maybe 30-mile ride today. I'm riding by myself today. A little cooler out here this morning. It's probably only 60 degrees. I got my bike pants and my bike sweatshirt on today. It's just a little bit chilly. So we're going to ride up to the blessing box. We will be taking the trail today. I'll be going up to the blessing box and dropping a couple things off and continue our ride up the trail there. So I'm still waiting to get one new e-bike in. Company still has not sent the bike. I'm still waiting on the tracking number. I was promised that last week, but still didn't happen, so I emailed the guy again today and see what's up. Shipping seems to be the most difficult thing of e-bikes. I'm convinced of that. It's not the manufacturer, I think, that's so slow on the shipping. I think it's the shipping itself. So who knows, it might be another couple weeks before I get the bike. But it is a cruiser style bike. I won't mention the company until I get the bike, because they tend to really delay the process after I say I'm getting a bike in, so it'll come in when it comes in, that's for sure. Today I'm riding my Cyrusher Ovia again. It's my 20-inch fat tire bike. Yeah, I've had it now about 200 miles, so I can do a really good review on it today as far as how I think it's doing and how it's done so far. So we'll be talking about the bike as we go along today. Again, I want to thank Cyrusher for sending me the Ovia. I have done probably 25 to 30 reviews on this bike. That's what I promised the company. So yeah, any of you other bike companies that want to send me a bike, I'll be happy to review it 25 minimum times on my channel. Got something going on at the school here. We had quite a bit of traffic. Again, we have to get around the detour, so that's the reason I'm coming through the school here. We'll be hopping on the bike trail right up here. not had time to get out and ride much the last 3 or 4 days. I've been dealing with a bout of vertigo, and if any of you folks have ever had it, you know what it feels like. It's not fun. So yeah, let me know if you guys have ever dealt with vertigo before, how bad it got. I didn't get the real bad kind this time, but each morning when I would get up out of bed, there was just a little bit of dizziness, just a twinge. So I had to sit there on the bed a minute before I got up. I am taking a medication called meclizine. I'm taking it just before I go to bed, and that seems to help a little bit. So yeah, vertigo is not fun. I got it real bad back in about late December, early January this past year. Well, I'll tell you, I woke up one night and the whole room was just spinning violently. And I knew right then what it was. Vertigo is one of those things that could be a lifetime thing. You know, people just have to deal with it. It's not really a cure for it. Now, if it's an inner ear thing with the crystals coming out of line, which is typically why it does it, sometimes they have to do surgery to go in and correct that. So I'm hoping that is not the case here. So taking the medication once before I go to bed seems to help a little bit. And I had to check with my eye doctor before I started taking it, because one of the things they recommend you see your doctor for is if you have glaucoma, which I do. Fortunately, I have the wide angle glaucoma, not the narrow angle glaucoma, because with the narrow you can't take this medication. So I got lucky on that anyway. We're in pedal assist 1 today, and cruising along about 16, 17 mile an hour. Take somewhat of a slower ride today. Well, we had some pretty good thunderstorms come through yesterday evening, which we really needed the rain here. It's been so dry. But we had a couple tornado warnings out yesterday evening as well to the north of us, so they got hit pretty hard. I'm not sure they had one touchdown, but my tomato plants took a hit. I had to get out and reinforce my tomato plants. They were about blown over. Of course, right now they're getting to the size now that any good wind, unless you don't have them tied down well, you're gonna have to secure them a little better, because they'll get blown over. It'll break them. Okay, we're coming up here on the blessing box. Blessing box looks pretty empty here today. Let's see if I can turn this camera around a little bit. Yeah, we're going to put in some ramen noodles and some chapstick type stuff. Boy, the food blocks is pretty empty today. I'll show you here if I can. I'll back bike up here a little bit. Yeah, you can see it's kind of empty. I had not been up here in about a week or a week and a half, actually almost 2 weeks, to put anything in it. So, and I know there's other people that put stuff in here as well. But yeah, it's a little bit on the low side today. All right, we're going to head back up the trail. Let me talk about this Ovia a little bit while we're riding here. What I found about it that I like and what I found about it that I don't like. Let's talk about the strong points of this bike. It is a very good handling bike. It's got dual suspension, front and back, and then the rear suspension is actually an air shock that you can adjust. So that makes that really nice. So from a ride standpoint, I'll give it about an 8, maybe a 9. Now, it was not as comfortable as my electric bike company Model R was. I actually gave that bike to somebody that needed it. Well, I sold it to them at a really drastic discount. But yeah, they needed it. His wife really needed it so she can get out ride with them, and so I sold it to a good church friend of mine. But other than that, the Ovia has got a 52 volt, 17 amp hour battery, which is a very strong battery. I can go 30 miles pretty easily on this bike. And that's riding anywhere between 17 to 20 mile an hour, pedal assist 2, pedal assist 3. I get really good range out of this battery so far. So I'm very happy with that. Somebody nice enough to let me through here. And the Ovia also has a 750 watt-hour rear hub motor on it. And I think it'll peak out close to 1,000 watts, I believe, when I'm riding. I've had the bike up to 28 mile an hour pretty easily. It may go a little faster, I'm not sure. I haven't really pushed that a little bit. But as I mentioned, I'm in pedal assist 1 right now, and I'm doing 19 mile an hour pretty easily on a flat surface. The bike has also got 20-inch by 4-inch fat tires, and I believe these bike tires are really good bike quality tires. They're not a Kenda, which my Zoda Zephyr has, but they are very good bike tires. Now you got to remember, there's only two e-bike manufacturers in the world, and they're within miles of each other in China on bikes. So keep that in mind. So you're really getting tires coming from one or the other of the manufacturer. It's got hydraulic disc brakes on it. The manufacturer on these brakes is Logan. I believe they're out of Cleveland, Ohio. They're very responsive, very good brakes. They'll pretty much stop you on a dime if you need to. And I'll show you the horn here as I'm going by this person. like the horn on it. Very strong headlamp on this too, as far as the headlight goes. I've done some night riding with this so far, and it's got like a really good square pattern on the trail once you turn your lights on. The handle grips are very comfortable. It's got a twist throttle, which I like better than the thumb throttles anyway. Some people like the thumb, I like the twist. Matter of preference. It's got a 7-speed Shimano shifter on it. I normally stay in pedal assist 7. I don't normally mess with those gears. I could if I was going up hills and I'm trying to conserve battery and all that without using the throttle. I could do that. But for the most part, I just leave it in the 7th gear. Now, a bike mechanic told me at one of our local shops here that you should gear down and gear up as you're going into a stop, because you're not putting as much torque on that motor if you're in a higher gear. Like in gear 7, you're not putting a lot of torque on that motor like you are in pedal assist 1 through 3, shall we say. Thank you. That horn works pretty well. Stay in pedal assist 1 today. The whole way I want to see what kind of range we get on battery degradation. We're coming up on the 911 Memorial here. Regular subscribers have seen this quite often. Cross-country runners out today. Cool day for them to be running from one of the local high schools here. Quite a few runners coming up here. The Ovia is like the Komoda Cyrusher brand. It has a very comfortable seat on it, so I'm going to leave the seat on it without changing it out. But if I had to give this thing a score or a rating, you may say, out of 1 out of 10, I'm going to give this bike a 9. All the way around performance, all the way around handling, pedal assist levels, throttle, comfort, I'm going to give it a 9. There is only one little thing that I don't like about it, and I think Cyrusher changed this after they built the Komoda, and I noticed this even on their Ranger, that on the Ovia and the Ranger, and I don't know how many other bikes they did it, they don't have a wired rear brake light or a running light on the rear. Now it's got a little button that you push on the brake, but I couldn't get it to come on, so the battery's probably dead in it already. So that's one thing I don't like. They only have a reflector on the back of this bike. That I don't like. One other feature I did not mention is it's got a rear rack on it, so you can add a bag to it or whatever. So from that standpoint, it's a very comfortable bike overall. It's as good as the Cyrusher Komodo. They're both 20-inch bikes, but it handles about the same as the Komodo. I think the Komodo may have just a little more torque from a stop, but it's not much. So yeah, I would highly recommend somebody to buy this bike. On my recommendations, especially for seniors, because it's a step-through bike and it's easy to get through it. So when you're older, if you got disabilities, it's an easy bike to get on and off. So keep that in mind. But again, I want to thank Cyrusher for sending this bike for me to review. I really appreciate it. When I get up to the end of the ride, I will talk about the accessories that I purchased on this bike. So we'll talk about that once I get up to my halfway point. We've come almost 6 miles, and we got only 3% of the battery. We still got 97%. That's pretty good. Again, I'm in a casual 20 pedal assist 1, 18 to 20 mile an hour. I'm trying to get a more consistent review on one pedal assist, instead of going up through all 5 pedal assists. I'm not going to do that today. We're going to stay in one. I'm going to see how much battery conservation we get. I tell you, it's a gorgeous morning to ride. It's a little bit cool out here, but I'm dressed for it today. Bunch of runners today. Okay, we're gonna stop the video right up here, and we're gonna start a new one. I don't want these an hour long like I mentioned. So yeah, we're gonna stop right up here. I'm gonna put the camera around here and we'll sign out. By all these joggers going by me here. But yeah, I'll put a link down in the description box for the Ovia. I think they have a discount on that. So we're going to put that on there. Let me cross the intersection here. And I'll also put in the description box of some of the things I purchased as an aftermarket. So yeah, share and like the video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys on the next video.